Hi, I'm Tim Bradner. Welcome to Capitol Views. We're here today with Duff Mitchell with the Alaska Independent Power Association. Duff, thanks for joining us.
Hey, welcome, Tim. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, Duff, everybody's interested in energy and renewable energy, small-scale energy projects, and that's what you guys do, your association. Maybe you could tell us a little about it.
Yeah, Tim, we're an organization that kind of formed together because there's a lot of Alaskan entrepreneurs, and there's a lot of people that see the bounty of the energy resources we have, and then they're coupled with the high cost of energy in many of our communities. And so what we have had to do is independently go with the RCA and deal with the energy issues, the bureaucracies, the permittings, and those things. And what we've done is collectively come together as an organization to work together to help bring about less bureaucracy and a little more competitive energy in our state.
And what you do is you would have projects that would sell power to the local utility or sell power to customers through the local utility network and transmission system?
Yeah, think of us as a wholesaler. In many business models, you have retailers and wholesalers. The utility has the meters, they hook up everybody, they do those things. But sometimes a wholesaler can produce costs and have better efficiencies where they could actually sell into a retailer at a lower cost than they can produce themselves. And that's exactly what occurs in the United States. 38% of America's generation is conducted by independent power producers.
Now, these are mostly smaller projects that are privately owned?
Yeah, they run the gamut from small to, in Alaska, some people would consider them large in Alaska standards, but in relationship to America, they're all small. And so we're looking at like the Delta Wind Farm, the Siri Fire Island Wind Farm, some small hydropowers. You know, my particular hydropower is being developed. It's about 19.8 megawatts. It's large, or it's considered okay size for Alaska standards. That would be considered very small, you know, in the lower 40.
And this is a project in Juneau?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Is it operating yet, Duff?
No, we're in the process of being licensed to go to construction.
Now, you mentioned Delta Wind. This is a wind project at Delta where the wind blows a lot. And I believe the name is Mike Kraft, has a small project now, and he'd like to expand it and build it up. But you mentioned also the Siri Cook Inlet Region project. That's an independent, privately owned power project.
That's right. Their Fire Island, they're an independent power producer, and they sell into the local utility that's next to Fire Island, Chugach, and Mike Kraft sells into Golden Valley, the Fairbanks cooperative.
And maybe, Mike, aren't there some small hydro projects in the Mat-Su Valley?
There is, and Earl Osman, who's been a pioneer of much of the small pioneering of into the hydropower, have been developed by his companies and his involvement. So yeah, there's some very small hydropowers in the Mat-Su area that he's been involved with, and he's one of our members.
And just thinking about some of the problems, Mike, Duff, I think I've heard that one of the issues you have is, for example, Siri at Fire Island, which is near Anchorage, would want to sell power to perhaps a buyer in Fairbanks. Mm-hmm. But one of the issues that you have to deal with, and this is what the RCA is grappling with right now, RCA being Regulatory Commission of Alaska,
right,
is the issue of transporting the power through several utility districts and different rates, different tariffs that you have to pay. I believe the term is pancaking, I believe.
Well, pancaking is a nice word. Extraction is another word. Just to put things in perspective, BC Hydro and the British Columbia Crown corporations sell power into Mexico. Mm-hmm. Into Mexico, crossing Washington, Oregon, and California jurisdictions. And so it's 3 nations, so it's also international, and can competitively sell power into northern Mexico. And yet we find it very difficult that we can't wheel Alaskan generated power cost effectively to Fairbanks. So that's just a dynamic difference where we see where there's a problem. And those utilities along the routes in California, Washington, Oregon do not have the ability to pancake or extract. It's more non-discriminatory, it's more open access. If a line is built and there's opening, where there's volume for that energy to go through, it's allowed to go through because it reduces the costs of everybody when you're fully utilizing an asset. And so those assets are being fully utilized when Canada wheels that power to Mexico. The same should hold true in our state. But what we have is we have fiefdoms, and they don't look at the bigger picture. They're only looking at my little territory. And so when you're trying to do long distance through multi-jurisdictions or through multi-utilities, it creates problems. And they're grappling with that. But we need to fix that, and we need to fix it well so that we can reduce the cost of power for our citizens and also open up our resources, for development. Yeah. So if you have a cost-effective product, you should be able to cost-effectively move that product to market.
Well, Duff, it's a complicated problem, and I know the Regulatory Commission is working on it right now, and hopefully in a few months we'll have a solution. I hope.
Well, we hope so too. We feel that solution needs to be independent, so it's not controlled by the same people who have created the problem today, and so it has to be a little open and a little transparent. And if you're producing power, you should be charged the same as me, and vice versa, because that's how it works in the lower 48. Yeah.
Well, Duff, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thank you.
And I'm Tim Bradner. Thanks for joining us at Capitol Views. Thank you.